buyer and seller management. Now, this is goldmine, so many of you have already seen, by the way, has anybody seen this video that's already on our YouTube channel? Okay, well, if you find some value out of what we're doing today, if you go to our YouTube channel, there is already a video of this course, okay? But for better or worse, the way I teach these courses, I don't have a curriculum, I just kind of wing it, so to speak. So it's not like I have an agenda of 7 topics that I hit. So the reality is the video that's currently on the YouTube channel is probably going to be a little different than the video that I'm going to produce here today. But generally it should be the same stuff. So having said that, has anybody ever seen that one? Nobody. Okay. All right. Well, good, because it'll be fresh then. Because there will be a little bit of an overlap. All right. So this is goldmine. This is my goldmine. This is my contact management system, or CRM. Who has a contact management system that they're currently using? 3 or 4 hands. Great. Got a lot of new people in the room. If you're in the business, new to the business, and you do not have a CRM, contact relationship management, or a contact management system, one of the very first things that you guys will need to do is to get some type of contact management system. Okay? It's almost impossible for you to attend any one of my classes where I don't say you need to have a contact management system, and without a contact management system, and I think I got notes over here. No, I must have thrown those out. I really don't want you doing anything else, okay? I don't want you holding an open house unless you have some sort of contact management system. I don't want you knocking on doors unless you have some type of contact management system. I don't really want you talking to anybody unless you have some type of contact management system. Now, for me, and in the year 2014, I think the best type of contact management system is some sort of electronic system, okay? Now, if you can't afford that for whatever reason right now, let's put aside what the budget's and where you should prioritize your money. But you at least need to have, what is this? This is a contact management system of some sort, okay? When I first got into the business, this was my system. This was buyers, ABCD, sellers, affiliates, escrow, title, mortgage, whatever it happened to be. And then within these drawers, they had other information. Current buyers, past buyers, hot buyers, cold buyers, you know, past sellers, current sellers, people who are in escrow, people who want to be in escrow, which makes these file cabinets a little bit more difficult to manage, okay? When I first got into the business, I was given as a gift a contact management system. It was a box, basically a file cabinet. And within that box had dates, years, months, and days. So it literally had like a 1 through 31 with file folders. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August with file folders, and then even years. We have to go back to 1989 when I started using this, and I used it for probably 6 or 7 years. So I had 1989, 1990, 1991, and how it would work is every contact, Charisse is a contact, she had an index card. Name, address, phone number, notes, important dates, birthday, anniversary date, whatever it happened to be. And if I wanted to make a follow-up contact with whoever that person was, I would go, what's the date today? 13th of March.
Yeah.
I would be in March, so I would go through my 1 through 31, I would go to the 13th, and I would pull out whatever was stuck in the 13th. I would pull it out. And there would be 10 cards in there. You were one of those cards. Within that would be something. There would be a note. It's your birthday. Or follow up on our escrow. So I would sit down, I would make my 10 calls, send my 10 birthday cards, whatever it happened to be, and then I would make a note. Sent birthday card. And then I would look at that card and I'd say, when's the next time I'm going to contact this person?
Next month.
So then I would go to the April month, I would take your index card and I would put it in April. Okay? And then when April 1st came along, I would pull out the stack of cards, and then I would have to say, well, at what day in April am I going to contact this person? Right? Well, the first, the second, the third. So then I would take my stack of 200 cards and I would parcel them out throughout the day, or throughout the month, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or maybe I wasn't gonna contact you again for another year. So then I would put you into the following year. Computers have made things so much nicer. Okay. Now from there, who has a day runner? Anybody use? I see what looks like a couple of day runners almost in one form or another in front of us. I would take my day runner, and then within my day runner was like this, because in my day runner was filled with index cards. So whoever I was working with within that week, those index cards would come out and then they would go into my day runner. And everything was pencil and paper. Very inefficient, but I gotta tell you, it worked. If you were managing a couple hundred people, okay? If you wanna manage, in my system, 60 some odd thousand people now, 69,787 people. I've been using this database for 16, 17 years, okay? And it's just so much easier, because now if I want to contact Matt tomorrow, I just put him on there tomorrow. If I want to contact him next month, I know, well, what day next month. Well, I want to contact him on the 13th. Next month I put him on the 13th, and away we go. So now this is not a contact management class. We do
my
it
birthday on
13th of
January.
Okay. All right. Well, I should have that in there. I should have a note in there that says, hey, and we do. We have a system that says this is when the birthdays are. Now again, if you're saying, wait a minute, I didn't know this was contact management class. We're not going to do contact management class, but I want to lay the foundation for following up with and managing buyers and sellers. In my opinion, there's no other way to do that unless you're going to be using some sort of contact management system. So, and by the way, we will be a little short in our class today. We'll be out of here right at 2, maybe a little bit after, which is unusual because normally a 2-hour class is short for us. One of the reasons we're going to be out early is because I'm not going to get into the deep part of the contact management, do a whole different class on contact management. We're going to go over the managing the folks. So this is how this is going to work. I'm going to use some real life examples. First of all, let's use an example of we're going to have an open house. And what do we potentially get at an open house?
Buyer.
Get a buyer prospect, okay? Now, whatever format you have these buyers sign in, and we do a whole class on open houses. Some of you maybe have already seen that class. Having them sign in on a piece of paper is fine. I'm not saying you have to have the iPad and you have to have the computer, okay? I get that. If you have that, fantastic. But having them sign in on just a traditional sheet is fine. But at some point at that open house, or as quickly after that open house as possible, we want to take that Mr. or Mrs. Buyer and put them into the system, okay? I'm gonna, this is actually let's see if this may or may not be a good example, okay? This is something that Jay was working on within my system, but this is someone that he has identified as a buyer, okay? Forget about the tabs right now, I'm gonna give you the basic overview. He has identified this person as a buyer because they're in the buyer section over here. Nan Van Wen, he's got him as a contact type buyer. When this individual was entered into the system, it is very easy and again, I have multiple people on my team. In this particular case, this is Jay's. But it's very easy for me to identify buyers within my system because they're in the buyer tab and they're identified as a contact type buyer. Okay? So I can search very quickly. If I wanted to say just give me all buyers, I can come over here, I can do a right click, double click. I've got contact type buyers now. I already have all of these people that are identified as buyers in the system. In this particular view, it says 500 here. There's actually a lot more than 500, but this is what I'm actually seeing. So if I was managing my buyers, I could quickly come here and say, okay, what do I want to do with these buyers? Do I want to call them? Do I want to email them? Do I want to send them a letter? So if I wanted to quickly send all of these people an email, I could just activate this filter and send an email. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Buyers. I haven't talked to you in a while. I wanted to let you know that interest rates are 4.370. Have you thought about buying? Very, very simple for me to take a look at that, okay? Now, one of the things, and I'll go back to this team property as an example. One of the things with the way we've got this set up, you'll notice we have a property, let's just pretend for a moment, actually let's not pretend, let's use this as an example. this buyer at some point in time decided that they wanted to buy this property on Latine Drive in the Cedar Creek Valley, okay? So also within my contact management system, I have a property that this buyer is now interested in, okay? And if I want details on that, I can come to Latine, click on Latine, I go to my pending tab, go to my history tab, and I have things that we have been doing with this particular property. Or, and again, let's pretend for a moment that, that's, well, again, I'm pretending, but I don't know why I need to pretend. This buyer bought this house and they actually closed escrow, okay?
So now you move them from buyer to owners?
Now they could be owners, correct, okay? And they also, and maybe I want to take them out of the buyer side, and maybe I want to put them into a past client side, because they're not technically current buyers anymore. They're now, in my mind, these folks are past clients, because I want to treat past clients a little differently than I do current buyers. But for our demonstration purposes, we've got our property on Latine, and let's suppose when we're in escrow on Latine, what are some of the things that we might need to do on Latine? Maybe we need to, let's pretend escrow hasn't closed yet. We need a termite inspection. Okay? And forget about my typing. And when does that need to get done?
Tomorrow.
Okay, okay. Well,
Yesterday.
okay, well, whatever we're gonna put, let's suppose that we have a termite inspection and it's time sensitive and maybe we actually have an appointment at 11:30 and we're gonna block off 90 minutes and it's not an action, it's an appointment. And we're gonna meet the termite inspector out at the property tomorrow at 11:30. So if I go to my calendar, I go to tomorrow. Now I'm meeting Latine Drive termite inspection tomorrow at 11. I also have a conflict because I'm supposed to discuss some accounting with my accounting girl. Oops, do I have a problem? Okay. So now within managing my buyer and the seller of my transaction, I have an action for an appointment on Latine. Now maybe I want to create a file with vendors. Well, for example, this one has an escrow tab on it. When I'm in escrow, Gloria Stratman. Anybody have an idea who Gloria might be?
Pass the line.
Gloria, no. Gloria's in the escrow tab.
Oh, she's an escrow.
Gloria is my escrow officer. So, Gloria is my escrow officer with Suburban Cities Escrow, who is doing my escrow on Latine. For my buyer, Mr. Wynn. Okay? Gloria also, if you guys noticed, 3 additional properties popped up. As soon as I clicked on Gloria's name, these weren't there a minute ago. When I clicked on Gloria's name, these 3 properties popped up. Does anybody want to know why?
She did those escrows?
She's the escrow officer on White Oak, Gabriel, and Tonican. Okay? Again, we're managing our buyers, we're managing our sellers, we're managing our escrows, we're managing whatever the heck we're managing. Okay? Now maybe under my escrow tab, I mentioned that I was going to meet the termite inspector, but it doesn't tell me a whole lot. Well, who's the inspector? What's the relationship? Who is it? Well, under my escrow tab, I might want to add a new contact. And I'm going to put Dennis. Dennis Palmer with Canyon Termite Pest Control. So now, Dennis is now part of my escrow, okay? And he's my termite guy, this is my escrow officer. Now I know how this works, but maybe if you're not familiar with this, you might want to create a couple little notes on how to manage this process a little bit different. So over here, I'm going to edit this. Now I go, well, who is Dennis? Dennis is the termite guy. So now, click off of that, a little easier to see. Now, Dennis Palmer, termite guy. Okay, so we can label these and we can describe these guys very, very easily. Maybe, who else would potentially be involved in our escrow?
Inspector?
Inspector, lender. I want to add my lender. New contact. What's your last name again, Cheryl?
Halpern.
always struggled with your last name for some reason. There's Cheryl. Come over and edit it. Blender. So now I'm building my relationships within this particular deal. So I've still got my escrow, I've got my buyers. Forget about the tenants for a minute. This particular property also had, it was gone through our property management department and we had some tenants in there. I've got my owner, here's my owner's name. I might have different owners. I've got the owner and then I've got the brother of the owner. So as I'm managing this transaction, very quickly you can kind of see how all these pieces of the pie start to come together. And you can also see how efficient that managing this process comes, okay? Who wants to close one escrow this year?
No, I don't. I want to close a lot more.
Okay. Who wants to close
At
10?
least one. At least
Okay,
10.
for those of you that have raised your hand and said 10, and let's suppose you've done that before, and you've already closed 10, and it was tough, but you did it. Do you think it would be twice as hard to close 20? How about 50? Give me a number. What's too many? How many escrows could you not close in a year? What's the maximum number before you just know, oh my God, I'm gonna blow up?
Like 100.
100.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like the guy across the street, when he had like all those already.
No, back at, he did 800 deals in 1 year.
Yeah.
Debbie and I did 387 in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah. We did half what Mike did, Mike and his team, but Debbie and myself and our team in 2008, 387?
I believe that's correct.
Did 387 closed transactions in 1
Pretty
year.
good.
And her head didn't even explode.
Oh, it exploded.
Oh, it exploded.
Make no mistake about it. There was plenty of exploding going on.
There were
We all-
certain days everybody knew to stay away from me.
Okay, but think about that number for a minute. Think about that number. We did literally one closed transaction every single day, including Saturday and Sunday, weekends, holidays, birthdays, Christmas, New Year's. Now granted, those days were closed, so other days we closed 2,
Yeah.
or 3, or 7, or 10 in one day. Now, does that sound almost impossible? I gotta tell you, for everybody in this room, with the exception of me and Debbie and Matt, because he knows what Mike did across the street, for most people that's impossible. When I first got into the business, I went to the orientation at the Board of Realtors, and I sat next to this guy, and I was young, I was 19 years old when I went through my board orientation. They don't do that around anymore. In the old days, you used to have to go, do they do that for you? Ivor doesn't really do that. You guys that are new, at some point, when you join the board, we used to do a mandatory, or you literally had to sit in class for 4 hours and learn about code of ethics and how lockboxes work and all the rest of it. But I sat next to this young man, who again, I was 19, he couldn't have been more than 30. And he was just switching boards or whatever, and I was new and eager and asking questions, and he said, oh, I've got 10 open escrows. And I literally thought to myself, oh, wow, 10? How in the world can, and frankly, I thought it was full of beans at first. I'm like, how in the world does anybody have 10 open escrows at one time? Okay? Well, I'll tell you what, you'll have a hard enough time closing one. Can you close one escrow off of a memo pad? Sure. Can you close 10 escrows off of a memo pad? And sure. Can you close 20 or 30? Probably so. Could you close 50? Maybe.
Getting harder.
Getting harder.
Yeah.
Getting harder. But I gotta tell you, no matter what your number is, whether your goal is to close 1 or 100, if you have a management and a relationship system that's electronic in one form, the process gets so much easier. And whatever your goal is, 5 escrows this year, 10 escrows this year, 100 escrows this year, especially if the number gets, who wants to make more than 100 grand this year? Okay, there's no way that you guys will be able to achieve that without some type of system. Doesn't have to be electronic. It can be done with the old file cabinets. But I guarantee you, if you can master this type of a system, you'll do more. Okay, and the more you utilize the system, the better. So as you can probably see, how cool is this? I've got my property, I've got my owners, I've got the brother of the owner, tenants aren't relevant to us, I've got my buyer, I've got my lender, I've got my termite, I've got my escrow, I've got my inspector, I've got the other agent, I've got everything I could possibly want. And it's a click away. I'm talking to the owner. Hey Janet, I need paperwork from you, yada, yada, yada. Are you gonna get that to me? Yes, I am. When are you gonna get that to me, Lance? I'll have it to you tomorrow. Action. Paperwork is gonna come tomorrow.
If you have an electronic contact manager, you can actually access your data anywhere.
Access it anywhere. You've got, I think I demoed this before. I don't have my iPad handy. I said, you guys wanna see something cool?
Do it on your phone.
You ready for this? Are you ready for magic? What's it say?
You're on the phones now.
Now again, I don't function like this regularly because I want my phone, believe it or not, remember phones kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and now they're getting a little bit bigger. I want my phone to be a little bit bigger. I want my phone to be the size, to me the perfect size telephone is the size of like an iPad mini, okay? Because my iPad mini, even though it's like, do I really want to hold my mini up? No, because I don't do that. I use Bluetooth or I use these. Pretty rare you guys will ever see me on the phone like this.
Is it not big enough?
Too small for what I'm doing. Too
It is
small.
Not too, Galaxy not too.
But for what it depends on what system you're using. I just use Goldmine because Goldmine's my system. But it just depends on what system you want to use. Okay, you ready for the magic? Watch. You see that? By the way, this is not local. This is internet-based system. This just said I'm disconnected.
Hi, Kenya.
What's on my screen right now? That. My phone.
Pretty cool.
Exact same thing that's on my screen right now. Okay? Now, the Achilles heel for this type of a system, I've got to have I have to have an internet connection. If I don't have an internet connection, I'm challenged. But guys, the beautiful part about living in today's world is and the sad part, I guess for now I'm going to look at, is the connectivity. Our ability to be connected pretty much anytime, any place at reasonable connection speeds is ridiculous. And it's getting better and better and faster literally every single day. Okay? So now I just disconnected myself, so I need to reconnect myself. So this is cloud computing basically, right? Who has an iPhone or any sort of smartphone? You guys using Dropbox or iCloud or something like that? Well, if you're not using Dropbox or iCloud, then my biggest problem with this technology is I'm going blind. I think my glasses aren't going to keep up with my technology. So anyhow, I'm now logged back in. I've got my folks, I've got all my connections, and I've got everything I need, and I can access it anywhere I want. I can talk to my owner, and I made a note that tomorrow she promised me she was going to give me whatever she was going to give me. It's there. Don't have to forget about it. No post-it notes. None of this. And don't get embarrassed. I hate this. For me, this doesn't work. Now the reality is, every time I teach these classes, 99% of the people have spiral binders or whatever it happens to be. To me, that's just the way I work, that's a waste. Because everything I put down there gets lost. It gets lost. I don't have,
The keys fall off.
it gets lost. Okay? So if I had a note, call Janet tomorrow to follow up on the escrow instructions, which is what this says. If I had that written there, for me that wouldn't work. If it works for you guys, that's fine, but the sooner you can get it in a different format, the better. Cheryl's doing my loan. So I'm supposed to have a loan approval, then I go to Cheryl's contact and I put in, whatever I need from whatever I need. And I've got a couple of emails from Cheryl that I've either saved for whatever reason that are already in the system. So I put in my notes there. Now I need to talk to the buyer. And one click away, Mr. Wynn, Lance Martin here, following up on our escrow on the team. Are you ready to go? Did you get your money in? Are you gonna meet us to do the inspection tomorrow? So on and so forth. I have a conflict on my schedule for tomorrow. I need to call the termite guy. Hey Dennis, I'm so sorry. You scheduled the termite inspection for tomorrow at 11:30. I have a conflict. Can we do it at 1? Click, 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 click. Done. Okay? If I'm talking to my seller, and the seller asks me a question about my buyer, and if I know I have notes in there, I quickly go from the seller to the buyer. I go to my history, and I pull up whatever, maybe there's an email that Jay sent out. Hopefully there's nothing too confidential in here. I quickly pull up the email, I pull up the notes. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, yes, I have an email from the buyer. This is what it said, this was my reply. As a matter of fact, it has a copy of the signed disclosure we need, or in this case the RPA. Let me forward it to you. Super efficient, can be done anywhere, anytime. Now this is one that Jay and I were working on. Let me see, hold on a second. Okay, Jay doesn't completely use the system the way I want him to use it, so we're going to try a different one here. Okay, this is a little different file. This one's not set up exactly the way I want it. But just pretend we're in the same situation, and I'm now talking to my buyer and I'm talking to my seller. Within my property, over on Saracen, I have, just pretend this is Latine. I have a links tab. And escrow officer calls me and says, hey, I need a copy of the contract. I don't know if you guys saw that. Pull up my property. Actually, let's do one better. Debbie, think of a property that we sold a long time ago. What's the oldest property you can remember? You're good at that?
What was that, the very first one?
No, let's not go that far.
Never forget your first.
Never, yeah. Let's,
Yeah, professional, or former professional football player owned it.
Oh,
well, you know, let's see.
that's why you didn't forget.
Let's go this other one on the team. Let's try this one. You know, okay, this is a different property on the team. Let's hopefully this will work the way I want. We were on 12835 Latine. This is a property at 12767 Latine. Let me see if this is.
You cannot query by date of sale and you'll see which one is the first
Okay.
one.
This one, this is a perfect example, okay? This property is one that Debbie and I worked on years ago. Not years and years ago, but this closed escrow on May 23rd, 2011. Okay? And in this particular case, our seller was an asset manager who worked with Old Republic Default Management. His name was Anthony. Here's all my information for Anthony. My potentially other prior asset managers are now my escrow officers. People that I dealt with in escrow were listed accordingly. Melissa Banis with lawyer's title was our escrow officer. Click, boom, I'm done. This escrow closed 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Okay? I can oh, by the way, when I clicked on Anthony, look what else came up. Anthony's highlighted. If Anthony, as my seller, let's suppose he just called me today at random. Hey, Lance, it's Anthony. Haven't talked to you in a while. I used to work at Old Republic Default Management, which doesn't do REOs anymore. I've moved over and I'm now working for Phoenix. I could pull him up quickly and I could say, Anthony, dude, how's it going? Dude. God, you remember that deal we did on the team? And Hogan and Silverado and Foxdale and San Jacinto and Candlewood and these are all real deals that we did.
Man, you got a memory.
Okay. And not only do I have a memory, I've got the documentation for every one of these. Let's suppose he called me as the seller and he said, yeah, hey Lance, I actually did have a question about that property on the team. I want to know, when did that close? I go to my tab. Well, dude, it closed on May 23rd, 2011. Oh, really? When did we give you that assignment? Well, you gave it to us on January 4th, 2011. What did it sell for? It sold for $150,000, Anthony. And it appraised for $150,000, by the way. And we did a home inspection on it or home warranty was for $350.
We ordered docks on May 16th.
And we ordered, blah, 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 blah. Click, 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 one click away. What if he said, I need a copy of the contract? Click, click. Pass it. Purchase it, I don't know if this is the one I want, but I'll pull it up. This is an escrow that closed 3 years ago. The reason this looks funky is because I'm in terminal server. Took me 30 seconds, I got a copy of the purchase contract.
You know,
Yes.
when you look for this one, instead to go and look for this contract,
Mhm.
everything that is here can be linked straight there. You click there and will
It's all
be.
linked. It's all there, I didn't do anything
You
special.
talk about the
You
one-
just close, but you
same
just click
one.
on that one.
Yes,
But you have to find here in the one column to
Mhm.
put the number, let's say, no matter if you put just the number that is go there, or the APN address, so then you don't have to say, okay, what is that address and scroll. Just click that over there, another column.
I think what you're saying is there's a more efficient way to do this.
Yeah.
If you're
column
trying to
here.
save me 2 clicks, I'm with you.
Yeah, another column here,
Just for that one
another
contract.
column here,
Yep.
for that,
Have it all set now.
for that
There you go.
document. And when you,
This is what he does, by the way.
and then let's say here, for that documents, have a number there, a number here. When you click, automatically open that one. So you don't have to go there.
I think we got Dan's attention.
Next up.
All right?
It's
You're
a
right.
Access database, for design, when you have the access, you can design the tables, but to link one table with another, you need a number.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. And you're right. And I could say, and I'm not joking. You might have thought I was being a little facetious. Dan's trying to save me 2 clicks. This is all about saving clicks. This is all about saving time. This
So
is about.
picture the house, that's where you can put
Add a
that.
pic- Oh, you want a picture of that? No, I'm.
So
You're
just
gonna,
click that
you're
one.
gonna be so
It'll be-
disappointed with me. You're gonna be so disappointed. I gotta do an extra click, and then I gotta find out what pictures I actually want. I want the landscape photos.
When you can, just one click and you don't have to look for that.
I know, you're saving me clicks. I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time. You're absolutely right. But the photos are, there's my landscape. What did the house look like?
Like no landscaping.
The same way that it's in the map, you click on
Looked
the
like
map.
an
you see
REO
the-
in that
Looked like
day
an
and time.
REO.
At least it's got a lawn.
You know, on occasion, I'm embarrassed to say this, but the truth was at times, they would, an asset manager would call me and they'd ask me a simple question. And one of the questions is, Lance, is it how many, is it a single story or 2-story? I'm like, oh my God. Single story. Phew. I couldn't remember. We closed 300 deals.
There was no way Lance could visit every single
Right.
property.
300, is a single story, 2-story, 2-car garage or 3-car garage? 2-car garage. All that sort of stuff. But the whole idea, again, managing buyers, sellers, listings, escrows, agents. I'll give you another, well, speaking of agents, Susan's an agent with North Shore Real Estate. Susan is the agent that basically sold this property. Okay? She was the agent that we worked with on this. If Susan called me, now again, this escrow closed several years ago, but if Susan called me, maybe Susan called me 3 months, 4 months after close of escrow. Says, Lance, I've lost my file. Can you help me out? Yes, Susan. Let me go back up here. That was on the team, right? Go back to my links. Go to offers. The offer tabs, here's Susan's offers. I pull it up. Oops. And within seconds, I now have a copy of Susan's offer that she lost. It's linked there forever. Slick, clean.
No, I'm smiling there because that's why you want to be real cordial to other agents, because sometimes you lose your paperwork, you call and like, they don't want to help you.
That's right. Well, let's suppose, darn right.
Well,
Let's suppose Susan calls me and
Sure.
says,
Right
oh my
there.
gosh, Lance, I've lost the entire file. can you send me a copy of the file? Here's the entire file. This is pre-SkySlope. There's my HUD, there's my purchase addendum, here's purchase contract, here's we're destroying your protection, get home inspection, got the whole file. Susan,
Everything in there.
where would you like me to send your file, Susan?
Okay, so
You have
since you brought up SkySlope,
Yep.
we have to put everything in SkySlope, and then we have to also put everything in
Well,
Goldmine.
well, no. This is,
In Lincoln?
guys, this is my world. I'm giving you a taste of what could be. Okay? I don't wanna overdo it, but I'm taking you to my Disneyland. Okay? Whether or not you build a Disneyland like mine depends on a lot of things. Okay?
Do you like roller coaster rides?
Right. Okay. So, SkySlope, frankly, will do a lot of what we're talking about, but SkySlope is not a good contact management system. Most of you in this room will never use Goldmine. You might use, you still using Top Producer?
I love it.
You're gonna use Top Producer. You're gonna use Act. You're gonna use something else. This is, I demo this because this is what I use. Don't worry about the name Goldmine or what we're doing. This is what is, these are the possibilities of what you can do, okay? Now, to bring SkySlope into the conversation briefly, time, there could potentially be some repetition between what I'm asking you guys to do in SkySlope and what you may have in your contact management system. But again, this is not a contact management class. This is managing your people class, okay? So, but within this system, and to use, God, I just blanked on your name.
Robert.
Robert, good lord. To use Robert's example,
Normally he doesn't do that.
yeah, I'm normally pretty good at it. I screwed up with James yesterday, though. Sorry about that. But to use Robert's example, be nice to your colleagues. Be nice to your fellow associates. You may need some help from them. This is a true story. As a matter of fact, let's pull it up. I'm in Dallas. This is many years ago. Oops, spelling counts. I'm in Dallas many years ago, and I'm actually at a 5-star. I'm at a 5-star conference, and my brand new asset manager with Fannie Mae. How do you spell Cecilia?
C-E.
I got it spelled right. Anyway, my brand new asset manager comes up to me from Fannie Mae and introduces her. I never met her before. And she comes up and she introduces herself. Struggling. Okay, she comes up and she introduces herself and she says, Lance, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Cecilia Carter. I'm your new asset manager with Fannie Mae. I'm like, oh, Cecilia, nice to meet you. Okay? And actually, my example is going to be a little tougher to show because we did a lot of business with Cecilia. These were the properties that we did business with Cecilia. But I'm like, okay, great. And she said, oh, by the way, we've met. I know you. And I'm like, oh boy. I got 67,000 people in here. I'm not thinking this, right? So yeah, I wrote an offer. I wrote an offer on your property out of the 1 Main Street. And I'm thinking, and it was a Fannie Mae. And I'm thinking, oh man, what, is this good or bad? This could be great. Did she have a good experience with me? Did she have a bad experience with me? But right off the bat, she told me, oh, by the way, my offer did not get accepted. So now I'm thinking, I hope Debbie did it right. For those of you that know, Debbie and I were attached at the hip for years when we were doing all the thing and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope we did it right. So it was very cordial and we shook hands and I went, and then guess what I did immediately after our introduction? I ran over here, I'm in the hotel lobby, I fire up my laptop and I'm pulling it up. Now right now, unfortunately, Cecilia just has tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff that's attached to her contact. I'll use it as a different example because this will be a little bit harder to find. But let's just pretend for a minute she wrote the offer on Bighorn, and as I'm clicking through, and I go to the offers tab, and then I pull up an offer, let's pretend this is hers, and I pull it up, and I'm looking at it, And I now see the offer literally within 60 seconds from the time we said, nice to meet you. I'm in the lobby, I pulled it up, and I'm looking at the offer that she had written me on 123 Main Street, and I'm refreshing my mind. I'm trying to put myself at ease, because I'm thinking, oh crap. And there was a couple things that I realized. Number one, my team rocks, because everything was done perfectly. Okay?
Way to go, Dad.
So, yeah,
That wasn't just me.
and it was
It
Debbie and
a
the team. Okay? So we sat back and said, we did a good job. So I was instantly relieved, because at least from our side of the fence, I was able to verify that this buyer was managed properly. And I have all the facts. And quite honestly, we've been sitting down, and if she had a question within 60 seconds, I said, oh yeah, your buyer was Mr. and Mrs. Chang, and you wrote an offer for 230 or whatever the heck that says. Okay, we'd have all that information. But then the second thing, then the next realization came, boy, did this ever become true. Then I actually started looking at the offer that she wrote. She wrote this offer as an agent. I started looking at the offer that she wrote. This is one of my new bosses, client, but my clients are my bosses, right? I looked at this and I thought, oh my God. My new boss wrote this offer. And it had to be one of the worst written offers that I'd ever seen in my life. And this was the gal who was hired.
She got
do-
picked by a guy.
As a matter of fact, we're gonna have to watch this video. I can't put this up. Sorry, this video is out. But anyways, this was my new boss at Fannie Mae, that worked, which ultimately got fired a couple years thereafter. But the offer was written terribly. So point being is when you're in a position where you want to be able to manage your business, okay? Whoever it may be, whatever transaction it may be, you need to be able to do this efficiently, quickly, accurately, and have as much, if not all, of the data at your fingertips as possible, okay? And the beautiful part about this, let's just go back to this property on the team. Let's just pull up some random stuff on this one. Who was my- Okay, my asset manager on that was Anthony Tinelbach, T-I-O-N, okay? So let's say I pull up my stuff and I'm in a different place. Hey, baby.
Any pickies?
Oh, sure, pay no attention, we have a mouse, pay attention. So, at any rate, this is my asset manager, I'm with Anthony, and so let me go click somewhere else, and now I'm talking to Gloria, okay? The database is all searchable, so you don't have to know everybody in the transaction. Maybe the only thing you can remember is Dennis Palmer is the termite guy on the transaction. You forget the name of the buyer, you forget the name of the seller, you forget the street name, right? You forget all of that. Well, if you remember Dennis Palmer is the termite guy that we just attached to the team, right? So I now quickly can come up here, and I do this all the time. I go to my contact, the only guy, I can't remember my seller's name. Just how embarrassing is that? E-E-N-N-I-S, you know. I pull up Dennis Palmer. Now this could be problematic if I have Dennis attached to a whole bunch of stuff, okay? As you've seen, some of these guys get attached multiple times. Now, I pull up Dennis Palmer. Dennis Palmer currently, which surprises me, he's only attached like 4 or 5 properties. So now my memory has to serve me a little bit, because now I have to remember, it's the one on the team. That's the one that I'm working with on. So then I can quickly click on the team, and now I'm back to where we started. I've got my property, I've got my owner, I've got my buyer, I've got my escrow people, and now I've got Dennis. So I can quickly have all of those folks. I don't know about Gloria on the escrow, actually I do, because we just talked about this. Let's be efficient. How many escrows, Matt wants to close 100 escrows this year. Okay?
Settle for 10.
So I'll settle for 10. Let's suppose Matt's escrow officer is Gloria. We want to be efficient, correct? Well, when I'm talking to Gloria about our deal on the team, before I hang up the phone, hey Gloria, while I got you, what's going on with Whitewood? I need an update. Hey, great, thank you for that. Hey, before we hang up, Gloria, What's going on with Gabriel? Now the reason I know that is Gloria is highlighted with all its other properties. So I can very quickly go through every single property that I have with my escrow officer and get updates, or my team, whoever's, maybe my transaction coordinator, now very quickly can go through every single property and get updates on every single one with one phone call. Right? Same thing with my lender. If Cheryl is doing the loans on all of these properties, I want to click on Cheryl's name and say, hey, what's going on with Tonican, Mr. Buyer? What's going on with Gabriel, Mr. Whatever? Okay, I get all those updates at the click, click, click of the mouse. Okay, along with all of the property information. Okay? We kind of already covered this part, but let me just show you how we link this stuff, and kind of to Dan's point. Close this up here a second. On the links tab, and we have the file. Well, the file contains a whole bunch of stuff. We've got photos, we've got inspections, we've got statements, we've got termite inspections, we've got whatever. The entire file is linked. Similar with SkySlope, one of the nice features that we've talked about with SkySlope, and if some of you are at SkySlope, what are you talking about? The newer folks will talk about that later. But one of the nice things about SkySlope is if somebody calls you and says, hey, can I get a copy of the termite report? You can just boom, right out of SkySlope. Okay. Now this is, to Sharisha's point, it can be a little bit repetitive. I mean, I've been using this program for years. But so what do you want? I want this. Great, you can just send it to that person right out of the system. Okay, very, very simple. Well, who am I sending it? What am I sending it to? Well, I want to send it to Gloria. I want to send her an email. What am I sending her? I don't know. Whatever she asked for. Okay, I just come in and I attach the file, attach the appropriate thing from the thing, send it. Done. And then it goes into her history and it's finished. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So, do I want to save that? No.
Is top producer the same, basically?
This is the
same?
nice part. By the way, I highly, right now, if you say, well, okay, Lance, I said earlier, nobody's going to buy Goldmine. It's probably a pretty true statement. Top producer is, I would recommend everybody in this room go to top producer. Okay? Or maybe ACT. There's a new program out there that I'm looking at called Infusionsoft. I may be highly unlikely, but it's possible 6 months from now, I'll be saying, hey, and here's Infusionsoft instead of Goldmine. But probably not. But this is the reason I like top producer. Everything you're seeing here is all custom. All of my little, this is called an organizational tree or a relationship tree, all it has to be built and everybody has to be attached and the links and all the rest of that stuff's custom. Top Producer is a real estate related, real estate based program. I mean, there's literally buttons on it that say, manage my listings and manage my buyers and manage my email campaigns. And everything is geared towards buyers and sellers, real estate agents. You could use this program to sell real estate, insurance, styrofoam cups. Okay? Customize it to do whatever the heck you want. Okay? The problem with this program, which frankly, and I don't mean to insult anybody, this applies to most everybody in this room, is you don't have the time, the tech savvy, or the desire to do what I've done within this program. So if you don't have that time, the tech ability, or the desire, go buy Top Producer. How long did it take you, William, to get up to speed in Top Producer?
I was using it the first day, but
A day.
I'm kind of advanced as far as a tech person would go.
Okay.
But
Okay.
anyone
Okay.
could do it.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
William's a younger guy, a little more tech savvy, but it took him a day. The nice part about, again, Top Producer, it is real estate oriented. It's done. A lot of the stuff in here, I'll show you one other thing and then we're going to...
It has it gives you 5 people to call every day.
5 people to call. Well, which again, it's going to pull it up. Well, and again, this is more contact management, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. But this is my calendar for today. Let's just go to phone calls. Okay, I've got a few more than 5 people that I'm supposed to be dealing with today. Okay. But again, we can make a commentary on how realistic and how often I'm following up with my people. But you can determine how many people are you supposed to call today. How many, for example, let's see how well I'm doing. Go to my activity list real quick. By the way, this is also built for teams. Top Producer does this as well. But if I want to manage my buyers and sellers and I want to have Matt's goal of 100 deals, Matt's not going to close 100 escrows by himself. Could he? Maybe. Probably highly unlikely. He wants to be more efficient. He's probably going to have at least one, if not 2 or 3 assistants helping him. Well, I have 30 free assistants helping me. Okay? Well, let's suppose Matt just had 3. We all get to collaborate and we get to manage together. So if I go to Lance, and release my filter. I had some stuff I was doing earlier, so bear with me. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. I just had a little brain freeze there. Okay.
Kevin Tibbetts,
Pardon me?
I saw a name that
Kevin Teeters? Okay, is that what you said? The Coldwell Banker office?
I thought it was Tibbetts.
Teeters. Okay, so this is the deal. These people are on my calendar this week to call. All of these people, I have a code next to them. RCT. Recruit. Okay? Anybody in this room see their name on here? Well, actually, there's Williams on here because I wanted to follow you as an agent prospect. That needs to be cleared off my calendar. A bunch of stuff needs. So these are people that in theory either need to be called by me or need to be called by somebody on my team because they're potentially recruits. And then I've got notes associated with them. This person, John, was called last November by Ingrid. Ingrid wants me to follow up and see whether or not we can do anything with him. Okay? So that's how you guys, that's how, you know, James and Dan and Muhammad and the group end up in this room is you get into my system. I'm managing, in this particular case, instead of buyers and sellers and listings and escrows, I'm managing agents. I'm managing recruits. Because my job's a little different. It's the same, but it's just a little different spin. When you guys start selling real estate, you want buyers and sellers. And I'm not really concerned with buyers and sellers. My buyers and sellers is this room. I'm looking for agents. And do I do a good job once to get you? Muhammad, am I doing a good job to get you? James, am I doing a good job to get you? Okay, I'm seeing, okay. Now, once I got you, am I doing a good job to keep you? So is the training that we're offering sufficient? Okay? Are we communicating well? I'll pull up, let me just pull up William just because he happens to be on here. Apologize, by the way, you live by technology, you die by technology.
Cool,
Why do I have a bowl of cherries on here?
because life is like a
Lance
bowl of
likes a
cherries.
bowl of
Isn't
cherries.
that something? I got some little
Must
bowl
be
of,
nice.
little bowl of cherries. Actually, I tell you why. Okay. All right. Well, it's a good thing Williams left the room for a moment. When he comes back, let's ask him about the cherries. But William has been exchanging an email with Aubrey in my office,
About cherries.
subtitled cherries, and apparently he sent her a picture. He sent her a picture. We should probably get off that right
Well,
away.
he likes fruit and
Go back
cherries.
Okay, I got you. Phil. But at any rate, now again, this is, Aubrey's part of my team, okay? But let's get off the history here for a second on William, and let's go to what I'm thinking. There should be an email in here. Okay, who got, hold on a second. How about this one? Who in this room got this email from Ingrid Monday that said we're having a lunch
Yep.
tonight?
Got that.
Okay. This
Got
is
the
my
one.
effort, this is my team's effort to manage my agents. I'm communicating with you. Hey, we're having a lunch and learn on Tuesday. Please will you come? We're having, who got this email? Hopefully everybody in this room. And if you didn't, because some of you are new, that doesn't completely surprise me.
Got the one
But
today.
who got this? Oops, that's not the one I'm looking for. Let's see, I think the one I'm looking for is this one. Who got this email that says, hey, we're gonna have a market forecast?
Yep.
Okay? This is my effort to communicate and manage you, inviting you to what we're doing. You're gonna participate, okay? This would be the equivalent of you as a real estate agent sending your seller a newsletter or an update on their listing, or this is what I'm doing for you, okay? All very easily done. I can send, I won't do it, but let's just pretend I did, even though I'm on William. Who likes to play poker? Nobody? Poker,
Do we like to play or are we any good at it?
Different question.
Doesn't matter. You might want either one of you. Poker tonight at Lance's house.
I like it only when I win.
You're invited. Okay, I know that's not typed right.
William's gonna go.
Okay, you ready?
Thursday's poker night at your house?
Poker tonight at my house, shall we? Who are we gonna send this to?
William.
William.
No?
Come back and look at him, huh?
We're gonna do this a little bit differently. Bear with me. If you guys wanna count mouse clicks, maybe Dan can tell me a more efficient way to do this, but this is how I do it. Bear with me. Okay, groups public. Okay. I've now said, hey, we're gonna have a poker game at my house tonight. I want you to come. I've said I want to send this to the CVP area all. I'm gonna cue this. So over here. Hold on a second.
It's doing stuff down
Is it
there in the
sticking?
corner.
Yeah, it's thinking. Okay. Outbox, 28, 30, 32, 35. Let's just wait for a second. How long did it take me to type that email?
About 2 seconds.
2 seconds? Still going. I got a group. Who is the CBP area group?
Everybody.
Yes. It's everybody in the 5 offices. The email that you got from Ingrid,
Flying a bit low.
the email that you guys got from Ingrid, it took Ingrid longer to type this one email than it did for her to send it to the 200 people. That same email is going to be going out probably tomorrow to my entire database of 69,000 agents with about 30,000 contacts. Are we still counting? With about 30,000 valid emails. And it's going to be a little different email. It's not going to be say, hey, you're part of the Coldwell Banker Town and Country team, come visit us. It's going to be the Coldwell Banker Town and Country team would like to invite you to come to our market forecast event. Buyers, sellers, agents with Prudential and Remax and escrow and lender. We're going to send it to everybody on the planet. And we're marketing.
Now, just for fun, let's tell it to actually send those 238
Right.
out.
Right.
See how many show up
So
in
here's my
Nancy's house.
outbox. So here's my outbox.
No address.
We just populated 238 emails that said, hey, there's a poker game at Lance's house tonight. I apologize, my system's moving slow. If we scroll down here,
Put in the queue though.
these are the agents, these are all queued up, and these are ready to be sent
Put in the queue.
to those 238 people. Boom, boom, boom. It took seconds.
You might want to warn Julie that all these people are coming over.
That would be a problem. Now, if I wanted
I
to
need to
send
go to
these,
Costco, get a little more.
if I wanted to send these, I click send all, done.
500
Obviously, we
people
don't want
coming
to
in.
do that. We're going to Control A, we're going to do all these.
Aw.
I
But,
said no poker.
right,
Well,
so
just
but this is the
Have it
same,
all out in the backyard.
the same principle with your escrows. Let's go back to my escrow girl we had over here. Nah,
You gotta wait.
I gotta finish my deleting before it lets me go anywhere else. It's thinking.
Come on. And
Short question.
Yes. Oh, as a matter of fact, we're gonna, let me wrap up, we'll take a couple questions and I gotta split. I've got an appointment I've gotta get to a little early as well. Yes, what's your question?
Yeah, because all the database is pre-created but in the same base, and I only change the column and the relationship. So that is like I said, from Microsoft Access.
Yep.
But this one that's already on the shelf, that you just
Yep.
buy it,
On the
just
shelf, ready to go.
create everything there.
As
But-
is top producer and these other
The
ones.
question is, can you add on this one a column, let's say,
Yep.
birth
Anything you
date?
want. Yep.
If
All
I'm-
of these over here,
Completely
everything,
customizable.
every one of these fields I can add. Every one of these tabs I can add. I
Like
can
another
add
column there that says
anything I want.
birth date.
Yes,
anything.
another
Oh,
tab,
okay.
yes.
Anything you
Because-
want. Now, if you're using a program like Top Producer, the answer is maybe. There are certain things that you can customize. This program, you can do anything you want. You can
Because the
add,
same thing, I can do it in Access, and I can,
absolutely.
but I can put it to nobody can add or take,
Anything. You can do
delete
whatever you want.
anything.
What he's talking about is a program called
Or-
Microsoft Access. Nobody in this room uses it. We use Excel and we use Word. Access is a database
database.
program. Okay?
Ah.
This is nothing more than a database program with a fancy, like a face thrown on it.
In fact, that's what Microsoft came with their Office suite, that you can do that contact
Do access.
management. That you can do the
That's right,
word
this is an Access,
processor,
but only
Access.
that
Same
create
thing.
a column in
Actually, I use it.
Same thing.
Just
But
customize
like I
it.
say, you can lock that one up after you create
Lock it
that
down.
database that was.
Or you can lock it down so that you
and
can use it
nobody
with your
can
system
change
can.
it, only fill up.
Amen.
But if it's open, then you can add columns, or you can change the name
This
of the
particular
column.
program, you can do anything you want.
You have to
Top
customize
producer is
it.
gonna have limitations. Yes, you can change these three things. No, you cannot change those three things.
Yeah.
This, you can do anything you want. Okay.
Hey,
The-
like
well,
cherries?
The basic thing that I want to
Do you
share
like
with you
cherries?
guys before we close, and I literally need to
Okay.
get literally in my
Oh,
car
you
and
saw the
out of here
cherries?
within the next 3 minutes. Um,
You saw the cherries?
Managing
We'll ask
your
in a minute.
buyers and managing your sellers and managing your escrows needs to be done. The real question is how are you going to do it? Okay? Are you going to do it the old-fashioned way, which I don't have an example handy, but the old-fashioned way, one of the things that we used to do, literally we have an example. I don't, but we have I'm sure if anybody, Robert's probably a good example, you've been in this business for a while. We'd have a file, and then on the, and Shirley, and on the file, we'd have a list, buyer's name, seller's name, escrow, lender, title, and a little thing, and then we do it. And a lot, and I gotta tell you, there's a lot of people that swear that's the only way to go.
Still do it.
Go into
Still
my
do it.
office.
Gotta carry it, yeah, carry it around.
Yeah.
I got it. And I get it, and that's fine, they're gonna hate me. Yeah. That actually wasn't meant as a joke. What just happened there?
You just do it.
I just went into my database and I messed it up. Somebody behind me who's coming in and looking for, this is the real file, Jeff, by the way. Ashford Circle. Ashford Circle is where it's supposed to be. Right?
Right.
Now, if I got Ashford Circle, now assuming I don't delete it and my database doesn't get corrupted, Ashford Circle is always where it's supposed to be. And I don't have to carry my file. Or I lose my file. Or I'm in Vegas. Or I'm at the river. Or I'm wherever you guys like to go. As long as I got it all. So, bottom line is, and we're going to close with this. How you manage your files is up to you. My suggestion is you need to find the most efficient way that you will use. If you will not use Goldmine, then don't bother with it. If you won't use Top Producer, don't bother with it. If you won't use a file cabinet, don't bother with it. If the best you can do is the copy of the piece of paper on the front of the hard file, fine. Do a good job, but you're never going to close 100 escrows. Because you can't. How many files do you think you can manage with stuff written on the front at one time? Couple, three maybe?
I said lucky to do 5.
Couple, 3, 4, 5? And again, if that's the goal, if the goal is to close 3 escrows this year, then you probably don't need all this. But hopefully the goal is to do a little better than that.